witnesses for testifying at today's hearing, the first Oversight and Intelligence Subcommittee hearing for the 119th Congress. First hearing as ranking member, and it is also nice to be here with my friend and colleague, Chairman Mills from Florida. Florida had a good day yesterday with the Gators win. I would like to spend a few minutes focusing on the title of this hearing: Deficient, Enfeebled, and Ineffective. If I didn't know any better, I thought we would be talking about Trump's tariffs that were just put in place. In fact, if you listen to Elon Musk talking about the architect of the Trump tariff, the mastermind Peter Navarro, Elon calls him a moron. He calls him dumber than a sack of bricks, and then Elon apologizes to the sack of bricks because he thought he offended the sack of bricks by comparing them to Peter Navarro. I was looking forward to a meaningful discussion of our current foreign policy discussion, but the trend continues in this Congress. We don't want to do any oversight of the current administration or examination or discussion, even though that is kind of the point of this subcommittee, but instead we're focused on looking backwards, Biden-era policies. So we're going to talk about DEI. Newsflash to my colleagues across the aisle: you won, we lost. This was one of the issues on the ballot. There's an EO has been signed, DEI has ended, but yet we're still going to look backwards. Oddly enough, there were some of the programs and objectives that you rolled back that you also had in place during the first Trump administration that promoted diversity and inclusion. There's this movie Spaceballs. I'm a big fan of this movie Spaceballs. There's a scene when Colonel Sanders and Dark Helmet are talking, and Colonel Sanders says to Dark Helmet, he says, "You're looking at now, sir. Everything that is happening now is happening now." And Dark Helmet says, "What happened to then? We passed it. When? Just now. We're at now. This is the present, okay? And not a single one of my colleagues want to talk about now. They want to talk about then. They want to talk about the past, okay? What I want to know is, when will then be now? Soon, perhaps? Our witness today, Ambassador Gina Abercrombie Winstanley, has experience on the ground in some of the most sensitive regions of national interest and extensive involvement in our national security apparatus. I want to welcome her and the other witnesses here today. The ambassador, after her term to Malta, served as the Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer at the State Department. And I'm sure she'll be able to provide more detailed insight into the programs that the Trump administration has begun dismantling. One of the things I want to talk about and end with here in my opener, Mr. Chairman, is that it is a bipartisan objective, Democrats and Republicans, to talk about what's happening with China. We had a China Select Committee that was very bipartisan, but my colleagues seem to be undermining that effort because of the freezing that has gone on with foreign aid. Any member who has traveled around the world and met with world leaders, met with ambassadors, knows every time the United States removes a dollar from foreign aid, every time we withdraw and create a vacuum, China is coming in and is making more friends, the United States, having more leverage, having more influence. We want to fight Belt and Road. Well, we can't withdraw. We can't isolate. And what's been going on within the State Department, what's been going on within the administration, is absolutely against what we're trying to accomplish on China. These tariffs that the president is putting in place on China, well, the other piece to that is to isolate China from the rest of the world at the same time, but we're not. And we're fueling other countries to turn to China, to run to China as we withdraw our foreign aid. America first can't be America alone. And that's where we're headed with the current policies of the administration. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.